Listening to Rabbi, it's this was like from 57, 77. We're now in 86, so it's 9 years ago. And it's as pertinent then as it is now. It was such a powerful message, and there's so much inside. So I recommend, if possible, listen again, because I listened to it as I was typing it out. And listening it again now, I hear things differently. It's amazing. He covered so many things, and it's a message for the whole world. If only we could, it would, um, if only we would hear, it's not words alone. God's word is so powerful. What was that saying that it goes in like a sword right into our souls? It's amazing. I took a few notes, but to tell you the truth, there really isn't much more that we can say. I love when he said that what happens is when we look to religions, different religions, they're making it difficult to come to God. Because unless you're willing to follow all the extra rules and regulations that God said, don't add, don't take away, just keep it simple. There's that KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Well, that's what we are. We're stupid. We don't keep it simple. Everything is so complicated. And when we listen, sometimes I get these messages from people who tell me, wow, this was such a powerful message. Like I spoke to a cousin of mine last night. She was listening to this rabbi who's telling everybody how to be a millionaire. All hocus pocus and superstition. Because if you're relying on the God of the golden calf instead of God and his simple message to us to to follow him and not all these other gods. Somebody else said to me, um, there was a question in she questioned uh, Deuteronomy 4, verse 19. Let me just find that for a second. Am I in Deuteronomy 4, verse 19, where it says, "Unless you lift up your eyes to the skies, and when you see the sun and the moon and the stars, all the hosts of the stars, should you be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord your God has allotted to all the nations under the whole skies." Um, Now he said, why would the Lord your God have allotted all those things to the nations under the whole skies? At first I didn't read where it says the Lord your God allotted them. You see, nothing is a god. Nothing under heaven and earth are gods. We create our own gods. We made the sun and the moon into gods. We make people into gods. There are no other gods. So when we follow all these other gods, we're 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 forming new ideologies, new religions, new superstitions, and we always have to go back to the fact that there is only one. And who is the one? The one who brought us out of Egypt. People say that Jesus Christ is a god. There were a lot of other gods. And if you go to North Korea, the president of that country is a god to the people. For the longest times, many people had their leaders as gods, but who were they? They were people who usurped the power and told the general populations who are like sheep what to believe. And if they didn't believe it, they would be killed. So we always have to go back. Who is the only God? And don't listen to what people say about him. Go and check it out. What did it say? And not only in the language that we're reading it, but try to go back to the Hebrew. What is the Hebrew saying? Because the Hebrew is so different from any other language. As you said, Miriam, last week, the closest thing to it that we have is Chinese, which is a picture language. It creates a picture, so we always have to go back. Anyone have anything that stood out to you?
Um, just the whole idea, well, the whole idea of what God asks of us, like obedience, loyalty, it could so easily, as you sort of just said, be translated into a kind of blind obedience to a master. And not only that, why does God want any of those things? He's not a human he'll be hurt if you don't do this. Like it really hit me. What does it mean to be loyal to God? What does it mean um, to follow God, or if otherwise these things will happen. It looks like, well, you didn't follow me and you hurt my feelings, you're now going to suffer. I mean, I'm making it simplistic.
No, but that's what we would do.
No, but we would do that, but it's become, we don't even realize we're doing that. But God wants our obedience, but it's not because we can't compare it to other relationships in the sense that God does not need our obedience. I think ultimately, like when I talk to somebody who doesn't read the Torah or whatever, I never use those terms because it means something in lay language, our everyday language. So when I say loyalty, it's, you know, you could be loyal to many things, loyal to your company. You could work for a company that's a terribly corrupt company, but you're loyal to your company. So what's it mean to be loyal to God? It means free, again, it's for us. When you really acknowledge God in your life and your heart, first of all, it's not something that could be taught or that can be, you're not blinding, okay, I better be loyal. I'll do this, I'll keep that, I'll be good, I'll do that. No, it's impossible to sort of do it ourselves, like we'll be good and we won't lie, I won't steal. But will you really be in a relationship? But knowing God and allowing God to fill our hearts and to come into our life is really for us. It's not only for, it's how the world functions, everything, even animals, everything um, flows down from God, the Creator. And He wants us to walk with Him because that's truth. That's how the world is made. Remember, we were talking about, I forget, on one of our walks, like everything you see reflects God. When you look at a leaf, you see veins, like it's built, same as look, you look at your hand, you see the veins, and it's one language for every living thing. So to me, when God says these things, I'm just, obedience, loyalty, or else, we will suffer because we're denying the truth of the whole creation. And what happens from that? What are you following when you don't follow that? You're trying to do everything yourself. Anyway, just that sort of really hit me that we could become blind. I remember when I was in Christianity and people, you would see a lot of legalism in every religion, but it's it's a joyous thing to follow God, to be thankful, and it's even an animal knows when you're loyal to them and responds with love. I was watching something on on donkeys that are extremely loyal animals, but it's like it's we have to know, like, do the source of it, learn what it's about. It's not that God is a strict God who needs, if we're not loyal, uh, he's not a being like us, like it says in Isaiah. He's not like us that we should do this or do that. We have traits of God and he's our creator, but, things like love and relationship, he comes to us first and we have to allow that. That was one thing I just wanted to, let me just look quickly. I think that's the main thing. Um, well, in the beginning when you're reading, I don't know if it's somewhere in Deuteronomy, it says Moses is summing things up and he says, God is angry. Then he goes, because of you. I just find that so funny. Like even at that point, he's blaming others. Like we always blame, we tend to blame others for things. Or, had I not been brought up in this sort of home, and even though certain things are true, but it's how you proceed, what you do with what you've been given. Anyway, so
Right.
I noticed that. And it was a very good message.
Yeah. The thing that I liked about also what he said is we're living in a time where there's the politics of appeasement, and that hits us at every level in our homes. Sometimes we don't want to say something to our children or our grandchildren or to somebody we care about because we don't want them not to like us. The most difficult thing for us is to tell the truth as we see it. Because today there's such a thing as our truth, but then there's God's truth. And we have to, and God said, do not be afraid. And that's one of the things that I struggle with. Even though I'm a strong character, I don't like to be disliked, you know? And so I don't sometimes say what I know is true according to God's words because the other person, and very often people on the left, are so adamant about what they believe, and it cannot be challenged in any way, or they will kill you. They will kill you with their words, or they'll kill you with a sword. And if you say what you know is the truth, so we don't want we don't want to be killed and we don't want to be hurt, so we try to pacify. You know, Chamberlain tried to pacify Hitler. It
Right.
doesn't work. You cannot pass. That's why so many people dislike President Trump. He's not a pacifier. Let me tell you. He says it as it is. He embellishes a lot of things, but he does not believe in appeasement. And if we try to keep the peace in our homes by not telling the truth about what we see, we're only building up a battle zone. It's happening in every one of our families right now, where we're pacifying someone because we're afraid to say the truth. I have that with certain friends. I pacify them because I don't want to be disliked and I don't want to lose the relationship. And that's what I'm begging God to help me with. It's one of the worst things that we can do because we're not helping anyone. So, Mauricio, do you have something you want to add? I have to look at you this way. I'm sideways. You're sideways.
Yeah, yeah. I had to put like this my cell phone because I don't have nothing to to the
To add.
vehicle to put to to put my phone. So I had to put um on
Okay.
the how do I say that? Okay. So anyway, yes, you know, I was listening to the message and it's really interesting that the man has not changed in 10 years or 9 years, okay? Because the very same ideas and the truth the Rabbi were explaining is the same deals that we have today. But prior and connected for what you say, is the Haftarah, because in the Haftarah, it's interesting, when you read carefully this portion, um, how God is 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 like building, I would say, uh, something new. Israel at that moment, they were punished by God. Okay,
You're stuck.
it says clearly. Verses in the Haftarah it says consolate. In
Console.
Spanish is consolar,
Yeah.
console. Yeah,
Console. Yeah.
console twice. And then you ask why God is saying console. Once is enough, But they were destroyed not only physically, materially speaking, but they were destroyed also in the heart.
Right.
Okay, I don't know if you can wonder. I honestly I cannot imagine myself how difficult is to be a slave. Can you imagine that? I mean, when you are a slave, they take your possessions. Okay, if you have a house, for example, they burn, they destroy, and that is not enough. Okay, it's a shock when you lost, for example, your car. Okay, and you say, oh no, when you crash your car, it probably is something tiny, and you feel a heart in your heart, okay, because it's like, oh, it hurts too much, okay, but it's only one car. Can you imagine at that time when Babylon came, they took your house, they destroyed your house, how difficult could be that
Well,
for
it wasn't
those people.
it wasn't that long that we saw that in the
Okay, and
Holocaust.
yes, and then it's not only that they take your material things, okay, but then they possess you, okay. So morally, spiritually, and emotionally, they destroy you. So when you are a slave, the very first thing you lost is your identity. You are not longer a person.
That's
You
why they
are
gave you a number.
somebody else. That's why they gave you a number, because if they gave you a number, then it is just a number they are sacrificing or they are killing. So nobody cares.
Right.
Okay. So that is something that for me is very deep, because at the first time God is saying, console, yes, because you have lost a lot of, of material things, but also console because you are now destroying. And then you connect to the next part of the verse that's saying, talk to the heart. So it is something that God is talking to different parts, because the heart is not really your organ, okay? Is your emotions, your intellect, your wisdom, your
Right.
knowledge. So
Right.
uh, God is talking to your heart because He wants to restore your all what you have lost. And then God didn't start by saying, oh, you did this and you did that, and no, no, no. He starts to recover your identity, because he knows that yes, you did it bad, okay, because it says later that he will take your iniquity. Uh, it doesn't say that he will destroy. Interesting. He said that he will, how do you say apaciguar because I read it in Spanish. Apaciguar is to diminish, to reduce, okay? And to reduce is not really to destroy. It's different, you know?
It sounds like pacify.
Yes, it sounds like pacify, yes. Uh, but that is very important, because you know, I remember when I was kid, okay, and I had problems, for example, to obey my parents, okay, and I remember that always I asked to God, uh, God, please take away these bad things from me. And today, when I was reading the portion of Yeshayahu, then I realized that that God really done wanted to take away, okay, this iniquity. And you say, oh, how it could be? I mean, it is part. you know, the Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Ra, the good inclination, the bad inclination is part of being human. So if it takes away 100% of your Yetzer Ra, then you will never work, you will never go to it, you know, things. So it's not really bad as bad, but it's part of being human. In the point is going to the balance. In just to have an idea, when it says uh, this part that I really love, honestly, uh, when it says there is a voice in the desert, uh, prepare the Lord's path, okay, uh, to to straight the path of the Lord, okay. So that is really interesting because the idea of this portion is God, because later is very clear that God is the king, okay, right? So in he as king, God at that time of when this portion was written, uh, people used to prepare the path for the kings to receive the king. Okay,
Right.
so it's not really about that the Lord needs us to prepare a way for him, because he later says, "Oh, I am the Lord, the one who makes the heaven and earth in my hands. I can wait the mountains, the valleys, the water is like a
Right.
drop for me." So it's about to prepare our hearts, and to straight the way is to be uh, integrity in our hearts to receive our King. Okay, that is the spirit of this portion. And then uh, there is something that I really like, um, in because it says the portion, eh, God is against, well, he says, I will, uh, the valleys he will raise up, okay, in the mountains he will down, okay.
Yeah.
So that is why, because, well, the idea is to real we are preparing the way, the path of the Lord. So if we have pride, we are not obey, we are not, we don't have integrity, then the Lord will down us, okay.
Right. Right.
But on the other hand, he says, to the ones who were humil humiliated, okay, because
Humbled.
it's not, yeah, not really, uh in this part is not really to be humble,
Oh,
because at the beginning is talking about to console, okay.
right.
Why? Because they were not humbled by the Babylonians, they were humiliated.
That's
Okay,
true. That's true.
so God is looking to Judah, and he's looking at them, and he's saying, okay, you were humiliated, okay, and now I want to raise you up,
Right.
because a person who is not really humble is the person who is humiliated,
Mm.
devastated. He cannot receive of God. okay, because
That's
he has not identity.
you look
Okay.
at lying on his side.
So that's why God is saying, I'm going to take you and I will raise you up. Okay. So it's and then he started to talk to different things. Where were you? And you are like the flower, you are like the herb. In another thing is in the place where God wants to prepare his way, to prepare his path, is in the desert. In the desert, God says, I will take you to the desert and I will talk to your heart. Why to the desert? Because of the desert, honestly, is a place uh, where there is no boundaries, when there is no walls. It's an open place. It's a lonely place. Okay, it's not a place where you can get some confusions, some different ideas. No, it's a place where God talked to Israel. So, uh, relating with what you were saying about the message, yes, it's true. We need to talk the truth, and we need to stand up. But we should take uh, the what is talking about Yeshayahu. Yeshayahu is talking very clearly. Inclusively, they said, "Oh, you have to see, you have to wake to shout up your voice very loudly to the herald, okay, to speak, okay, the truth of the Lord. But at the very same time, okay, he's saying, uh, is that is not really enough, okay? Trust in me, fear me, okay? So God is talking to the heart. So today is very important to talk the truth, okay? How important is to talk to the heart.
Right.
God in this portion through Yeshayahu talk to the heart of Israel, and then after talk to the heart, then he spoke the truth, okay? And then he gave confidence to his people because he said, okay, talk, I am the Lord, so I'm gonna protect you, okay? So uh, in that is the what I wanted to say
Right.
is important, but it's important also to talk to the heart, okay?
And by that you mean how you speak to them, like the method, like softly, when you say speak to the heart, what do you mean?
Okay, first, for example, you as father, can you imagine? Okay, he made a mistake, yes, but to talk to the heart is not to say, "Oh, poor of you." No, no, it's not about that. The very first thing is to say, imagine that you have a kid that crashed your car because uh he was drinking with some friends. Okay. In the first reaction for me is, oh, I want to kill you. Okay. That's honestly. So that is the very first thing I want to say. But talk to the heart what it could mean, okay? In that the very first reaction is to destroy him, okay? And then you know you know since the beginning that you want to punish him, okay? Because he made a mistake. Okay, that it should never happen. Okay, uh, but if you start to saying, "Oh, you are so terrible, son. You are so drug addict, or you are so this, that, blah, 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 blah." Okay. Are you saving him or are you destroying him?
Right.
Probably you are destroying him because instead to lift him up, what you are saying, you are with your mouth, you are telling what he knows that he probably is. But instead to raise him up, you are just cutting the mountain to him. Okay, you are destroying him. You are
So
you are you're not lifting him up. You are
so
destroying.
why does God then say in Isaiah, "O
Yeah,
Israel, you're a sinful nation, you're a brood of iniquity,
yes,
you." Yeah.
yeah, but you know that that is very interesting. Because in Isaiah, I don't know if you can put on the screen, okay? Uh, and then I'm gonna move from this place because somebody wants to move. Uh, when you put Yeshayahu
Okay, which
at the beginning, okay, the very first verses is gonna show in us.
are you
Uh,
talking about this week's parasha or the first
no, this week parasha, Isaiah 40. I
okay, let
when
me
it
go
says
to
prepare the path of the Lord,
right,
okay. When it
Isaiah
says
40,
console,
right.
console, yes.
Okay, hold on, let me do it. Chapter 40. Okay, console. Let me share the screen. Okay, comfort my people here.
Oh, yes, that's the one. Okay, so uh, it says I'm gonna park here.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, please.
Which verses? How many?
Just verse one, and then we stop. Okay.
Okay. So it's comfort my people, comfort them, says your God.
Okay. The very first thing is to whom he is talking. Okay. Ah, allá abajo.
To Israel.
Uh,
To Israel.
yeah, he's talking to Israel, but who is comfort Israel?
The nations?
It could be, but also is talking to to the prophet.
Oh, of
Okay.
course. Of course. To
Yes.
Isaiah, of course.
If we read carefully, prior God is like saying to Yeshayahu, go comfort Israel, and also is talking to the prophets. And this is very important because at the beginning, can you imagine uh, when 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 you are a spiritual leader and you are looking the rebellion of people, okay? Um, can you imagine? Um, Probably he was angry because I was telling you for 40 chapters, okay, what to do, and now you are doing the very same things, okay? So he's talking console to the leaders, to the teachers, okay? Not only tell them that they are doing wrong, okay? That is very important. And then, can you put the screen, please? Okay. Speak comfortably, okay, to the heart, to Jerusalem, and cry to her.
Yeah, speak to the heart. Alev, Yerushalayim.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that her fighting is ended, that her iniquity is pardoned. For he has received from the Lord's hands double for all her sins. And it says, a voice cries. Okay. Who is the voice that is crying? The prophet. And it says, prepare in the wilderness. And that is very important because uh, what is God doing first through the prophet? He is consoling, he's talking comfortably to the heart, okay? They cry together, they express emotion one each other, and after that, and it is like giving peace to that person because he said, oh, your iniquity is pardoned, your iniquity has decreased, okay? In that understand that the consequences that they are living is because God is punished them. And that is very important because when God is punished you, God is not destroying you.
Right.
Okay? And it says, prepare in the wilderness. When you are a slave, you don't have nothing. You are not longer the rich people who want you wanted to be, or you the powerful man, or whatever you have an idea to be. In the wilderness, uh, there is no there is the dependence on God. Okay, there's no water, there's no protection, there is no shelter. uh you are like alone. And it says at that moment, okay, when nobody wants to be, but probably once in our life we will be, it says, prepare the way of the Lord. Why the way of the Lord? Because it was accustomed to prepare for those at that moment, to prepare and to repair, I would say, the path so the king can come and could be received properly, okay, to have dignity, okay. That, for example, to prepare a path is when there is a red carpet,
Yes, I
okay,
was going to say that. Yes.
okay. So it's the very same thing. It's like say, oh, you are not going, your path is not going to to everybody's soil. No,
Right.
you have a distinction. Okay.
Right. Right.
So, and it says make it straight. Okay. So I already prepared the way, and now make it straight in the desert. So have integrity in the desert, a highway for God. And it says, everybody shall be exalted. So with pride, with with persons who wants uh, to be uh, arise, recognize, whatever. Okay, we're gonna uh, make you down. Okay, so everybody shall be exalted, every mountain and hill shall be made low, and crook, okay, that is
Crooked shall
in,
be made straight. Yeah.
yes, but who is crook? Crook is a place where is instability,
Right.
okay. So uh and it says will be make straight. Oh, you are not a person. Today you say yes, tomorrow you say no.
Right.
Today you cry out before God, and then the next day you are hating God.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like everything will be brought into balance. All the,
Yes.
yeah.
In all the rough place, play plain,
Right.
and
Right.
the glory of the Lord until that moment that you already prepared the terrain. Okay. After that, the glory of the Lord shall be revealed in So we want there is people who are saying, "Oh God, I want to see your face." Yes, but have you prepared the path? Have you prepared have you straight the way?
Right.
Okay, that
Right.
is the question. Okay,
Right. It's a two-way street.
yeah, it's two ways street.
Yeah.
Okay, and then ¿qué atrás? It says uh um,
All
it
flesh.
says in all flesh means all humanity.
Right.
Okay, not only Israel
Right.
shall see it together. And this is a contrast with our parasha because it says in our parasha that God cannot be seen
Ah,
because he's not a way.
well, to
But
see
it
the glory of
says,
the Lord. Yeah.
but the idea is should be like the sun. When there is a cloud, the sun is hidden. We are not looking at the sun directly because if not, we get blind.
Right.
But then the cloud removes, and then you can see the light. So you
Right.
can see the sun. That is the idea. Okay. And it says, all flesh is a grass, and all its grace is a flower of the field. The grass withers and the flower fades. When the breath of the Lord blows upon it, surely the people is like grass. Okay, that is mean fragility, and that the life of us is very quick. For
Right.
example, uh, I don't know if we can if you can imagine yourself, okay, that sometimes we might think, oh, how wonderful it's myself, okay, and but at the end all these persons who fell like that, they are 3 meters under the ground. Okay,
Right. Right.
so it, life is a glance. Okay,
Right.
and also you who brings good news to Zion, get up to the high mountains. Okay, and you who bring good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with strength. And that is what I'm saying. It doesn't start with with um with a strong voice. Okay, no. How God started talking to the heart, crying together, talking to the emotion, and then saying, recognize that it's God who punished you, and then uh, this is your path, what you need to do to recognize, to make the Shuvah, to do it better. Okay,
Right.
give return back the identity to the person. Okay,
Right. Yes.
and then you can say, oh, what you did is not good. Okay,
Yes.
and then lift it up, be not afraid, say to the city of Judah, behold your God. And at the end it starts to compare God to others God. Okay, uh, so okay, so what I want to say is sometimes for example, in the process, I said you crash the car of your parent because of a bad conduct. You did something wrong. Okay, how can I speak to the heart of this person? Well, son, first, I am glad that you are alive. Second, recognize that the crash, yes, is a consequence of what you did, but is the punishment of God. Okay. In so you need to straight your way, to rectify. Okay. And then you will get the pardon. And then at that moment, probably when a kid is crashing a car, uh, he is destroyed inside. So you need to lift him up and remember who is he or she, okay?
Right.
And then talk to a straight, okay? And then you will save that person, okay? That
Right.
is for me what is about this portion, okay? And that's why God also talk to Moses, you will not see the land. Not because, yes, it's a punishment, but at the end he added something, but because at the beginning, what Moses asked, to see the land, not conquer the land, to see the land. Allow me
Right.
to go and see the land, said. And,
Right.
and, and God granted him to see the land.
Yes, it's true. He was
So
tired.
yeah,
Yeah.
but what he didn't allow is to enter to the promised land.
Right. Because he needed a leader with the strength to
Yeah,
do it. Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm.
um, that is strength, but also love, and
Yeah. We need
so
to know in our time when we've had enough and we need to
yes,
let it over to somebody else. Exactly. Because yeah, because Moses didn't have the strength even to at this point to make sure that the judges fulfilled what that they were supposed to do, which was to a very difficult thing. He was gonna have to destroy some of his own people because of what they did at Baal Peor. The elders had to be raised up on stakes or whatever, and he couldn't do it. So if he couldn't do that, how is he going to go in and take the land? Joshua had the courage. He was young. He could go into battle. Joshua, I think Moses' fighting days were over. And sometimes we need to know when our fighting days are over. So, what a beautiful message. Hi, Samara. Nice to see you.
qué bueno verte.
¿Ah?
Qué bueno
Ni-
verte, te digo. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
¿Cómo estás?
Bien,
Yen, are you fine? Say, I am fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
fine, thank you.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
okay.
thank you, Marcio. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, our rabbi, who is now doesn't have to worry about all the things going on in the world because he would be so upset. Oh my goodness, he would be so upset. So right now he's with his forefathers and with our forefathers, and one day we will be there. So thank you, everyone, for joining the service today, and may God give us wisdom. May He help us to speak to those who need to be spoken to. May we be able to teach our children so that they can teach their children. May we have the courage to stand up and say the right thing and speak to the heart, not insult, not tear down, but speak to the heart. So thank you, everybody. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shalom.
everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. See you again next week. Mauricio, I think it's your turn next week, no, to bring the message? Ekev. Wonderful. We look forward to it. Have a wonderful week. We continue to pray for Evelyn. May she be well. May she be healed and find the root of what's going on in her heart. Sarai, may you find a new work, and may God use you, all of us. May God use us to bring His word with no fear, and that's the difficult part. No fear to head each day and make the road straight for all those who follow behind us, who follow God's way. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.